Okay, now let's start with this question. This is a bit different from the previous one. The previous one in the previous video was this one, where the substitution was this 3x minus 1 is equal to y. So this one is a bit different. This one has a quadratic equation for starters, and the roots are a squared, b squared, gamma squared, and delta squared. So as I told you before, sometimes they do not give you the substitution in the question, just like they gave it here. Um, yes, so they do not give it here, use substitution, whatever they give to show that these roots have the equation there. They do not give that mostly. So this is the question. Let's solve this so you know how to do these type of questions. And sometimes this is squares. These are squares of roots. Not square roots, squares of roots. And these can be cubic as well and quadratic as well and fifth power as well. It does not matter. The method is going to stay the same, the one I'm going to do right now. This is just for the purposes of teaching. So in the upcoming videos, I'll be solving a few past paper questions as well of different concepts so you know how to do each and every type of question before your exam. Let's start with this question. X power 4, x minus 2. Let's first of all find substitution. So to find that, we see that all the roots have been squared. So let's just write x squared, which would be equal to any substitution. I told you that my favorite was w, so we're going to use w. And it is going to become x is equal to square root w, or you can write this as w power 1 over 2, whatever you're comfortable with. Let me just fix that. That looks confusing. So this is 1 over 2. That looks like I'm multiplying it by 1 over 2. Okay, so 1 over 2. Okay, that is the power 1 over 2. Let's see. I'm going to be using this one because this just is easy to me. So the next step would be to substitute it in the equation, the original equation we have been given. This is going to be under root w power 4. Then it's going to be minus under root w whole square, and then plus 2 under root w, then plus 5 equals to 0. For this topic and this concept, you have to be proficient in finding, like, making these equations into the ones they have asked you to make them. For example, I'll be explaining what I mean with that. For this one, you have to notice that there is a power of 4, a power of 2, and a power of 1. This part has the power of 1. And you have to get rid of the square root, and you have to be proficient in that. You have to know how to get rid of the square root and when to take something to the other side of the equation. Here it's kind of simple. This can just become w squared. This can just be w. And now here, this one would still stay 2w and 2 under root w. And this is just 5. So this is equal to 0. So now what do we have to do? Let's consider if we take 2 under root w, this term, towards the other side and then square both sides to get rid of that. I mean, technically that is possible. That would just become w square minus w plus 5, and then this would just become minus 2 under root w. So squaring both sides would be like the. But now you see the problem that there are three terms here, and it is pretty difficult, not pretty difficult, but it is kind of tedious to expand the bracket and then work your way with that. So an easier way would be to take two terms to the other side instead of one, two terms. So this just applies for this question. It can be different for all the questions. So let's take something else towards the other side as well. Let's go back a little bit with our, let's just erase the thing and let's make it another. So let's do it as w squared minus w and equals to, let's do it as minus 5 and minus 2 square root w. Now we can square both sides to get rid of the square root. Square this side and square the other side as well. So we are going to do this quickly. W power 4 minus 2w square and w becomes w cubed. And then it is going to be plus w squared. Okay, w squared. Let's fix that. And the other side is going to be, we can take the negative common so that just cancels out because it is a square. Minus 1 squared is 1. So we can consider this as 5 plus 2 under root w. So this is going to be, see, now this is the problem I was talking about. So if we square this side as well, it would still give us a square root of w because it would be 25 plus 4 and 20 under root w and then plus 4w squared. Not 4w squared, 4w. So this is the problem I'm talking about. You have to be proficient in how to handle these equations, and this was a mistake which I made right now. So let's just fix that. We can see that this method would not work because that would be tedious. So let's go back to our three terms method. That would be tedious, but it would work in this question. So this would become w squared minus w plus 5 and let's just square it and then it's going to be 2 under root w and squared. Let me just quickly expand the left side of the equation and be back. Okay, so this is how you're going to expand the left side, and then this is going to be equals to um 2 under w squared. That would just be 4w. Now you can just take it towards the other side. W 4 minus w power 4, sorry. Then 2w cube minus 11 w squared minus 10w minus 4w is minus 14w and then plus 25 is equal to 0. So this is the new equation that we just found for the roots alpha squared, beta squared, gamma squared, and delta squared. So the original equation that we had in the question, x power 4 minus x squared plus 2x plus 5 had the roots alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. And the new equation we just found that has the roots alpha squared, beta squared, gamma squared, and delta squared, not the non-squared variant of that. And the last part of this state, the value of alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared plus delta squared is pretty easy. We just consider the new equation because that already has the roots, and we just write it as the sum. So that is going to be sum of roots. That is just like that is going to be minus b over a. So b is minus 2. Let me just scroll down a bit, my bad. Okay, minus 2 is going to be the b value, and there is no a value, that is just 1. So this is going to be minus 2 over 1 and then that is just going to be 2. If you scroll down to show, that is just going to become 2. So sum of all the roots of, and the sum of the squares of roots alpha squared, beta squared, gamma squared, and delta squared just becomes 2. I was just reviewing the video and I found out that I made a tiny mistake in the final equation. This is not going to be minus, this is going to be plus. This is plus 11w squared. Let me just write that properly. Plus 11w squared.